Hey everyone, this is Victor with Excited Atom Design. Here today to talk about hinges. Hinges are a great way, especially when you're using a laser, to actually make something that you can use out of the material that you're already cutting. You don't need to go buy, metal hinges unless that's the look that you're going for. You can actually make hinges cut at the same time you're cutting everything else, and they work great. All right, let's get into it. So, what I want to talk about is the basic setup for a hinge. So, let's say we have our body and our lid set up, which is going to represent the outside of this red line. So, this is the outside of our box. What we have is we have the lid seam, which is where the lid and the body meet. And then we have our central axis point for our pin, or the center of our hinge. So if I add that pin in, you can see that the pin sits on the outside, but it is also exactly centered with the lid and the body seam. So this, your pin circle, has to be perfectly centered. This allows that box to open away. So if we go from the central axis point, you can see that now once the hinge is in place, this box will actually open away, and it'll still fit perfectly because this is centered. All right, so if we add in our sides, so we have our lid and our body, and then we add in our hinges. So now what we have is we have our arms for a hinge. So there are three parts to a hinge. So you have your arms, each one, and then you have your center pin. So you'll need 3 parts per hinge. Now if we then set this up so this hinge is centered and everything's good to go, and we open the box, you can see now that this hinge rotates away from the box. This is your arch, your rotated arch, so that when it comes back, it'll actually close perfectly. Now I use a couple different types of hinges. One I created for a project I was working on, and the others are just kind of, normal hinges that, anyone, you can get them from anywhere. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how my first clip hinge set works. So this set I created when I was working on my Christmas Village set, and I wanted a hinge that it's kind of low profile, but it's strong. I know it still sticks out of the back of the piece, but it doesn't hinder the look once you add in everything else. So it's created with using my lid set, which is this clip here, and then I use 2 body clips, which are here. The pins, it's either a U or a J, and there's reasons why to use both. So as you can see in this setup here, I have my lid setup and my body setup. There will always be 2 for the body and 1 for the top. Now if you're making a larger box, you can put 3 sets in just to give it a little more strength, but I have found that with just 2 of these, I've never had a problem with stability or strength. The other thing that I do is I create, for these clips, I create tabs that go into the slots. The reason why I do this is I'm trying to get more glue surface area. So if I just had 1 tab that went in here, I would only be able to glue it here and here. But since I have this cutout here, I can actually add glue here, here, and here. So I'm getting 3 more areas of glue, and this will help keep it stronger. Same thing with the bottom. Now with the 2 different types of pins or clips, I can use the U-clip, which will go through both of these. The thing that that'll do is when the box is open, so when this piece comes rotating back with this U-clip, it'll stop once it hits that bottom part. So it will only be able to open up just a little bit more than 90 degrees. Now with the J-clip or pin, if I stick this J pin in here, whoops, sorry. So if I bring it through here, this piece here fits in here, but it doesn't go all the way through. And what that does is that allows the lid to actually open completely 180 degrees, because now this, as it's rotating back, doesn't have anything to stop it. It'll stop with this one. It won't stop with this one. You can set these clips up or pins up any way you want. You can put them on the inside, going this way, or you can have them on the outside going this way. It is completely up to you. It's all the look. The thing that you want to remember is when you're working with these pins or clips, that you do not glue them. They will fit into these spots pretty tightly. There have been a couple times when I've kind of had to use pliers to push them through, and that is exactly what you want. If you add glue to these and glue gets onto this piece here, it'll glue it in place so it won't open. So try not to get glue on your pins when you're putting them into your setup. There's other ways of doing hinges. I have probably about 8 or 9 different ways. I'm going to show you 3 different setups today. I'm going to show you this, and then I'm also going to show you some barrel hinges. So let's start with a regular U or J clip hinges. So with my U clip hinge, you can see that this center circle and where the clip goes through is exactly even between the lid and the body. So I set up my lid hinge arm, and then I put 2 of the body arms on. So you can see that here. So I have the 2 body arms and I have the 1 lid arm. Now with the clip, I'll basically just bring this through. If I shove this all the way through, as you can see, it'll go through both slots. And with this one, it will stop that lid as soon as it hits that lower part. Okay, so it's only going to allow you to open 90 degrees. Now with the J-clip, same setup as before, nothing has changed. You can see the lid sections and the body sections. Now when I put this clip through this time, you can see this arm doesn't go all the way through. So this whole center piece is open. And what that will allow is it will allow that lid to flip all the way back 180 degrees. So if you're creating something, even this is great for frames. If you want to have frames that will open up, further than 90, this is a great way to do that. Right. The other thing that I like to use is a barrel clip, and I'm going to show you a couple variations on barrel clips that I have. So first one I have is a clip barrel hinge, and what I mean by clip is I mean that the arm sections actually clip on to the lid and the body, and then the pin will go through this whole section. With the barrel, any of the barrel hinges that I create, you have to put the hinge together first. So let's just say I put this hinge together. Here's my base. I'm going to go ahead and slide my clip in, adding some glue on the inside of the clip. Do the same thing with this. Now, as you can see, the reason why you have to put it together first is because this pin will not come out now. So you're not going to be able to put this together. You're not going to be able to push the pin in after you've glued these in place. So once you have this glued onto the base, then you're going to go ahead and glue it onto the top. All right. And what this does, it will allow that top to open about 90 degrees, because what's going to happen is the lid clip is going to hit the side of the box and it's going to stop. Now, for the hidden barrel hinge, this hinge is actually worked from the inside. So you'll be gluing it on the inside of your box. And what that does is it gives you a small reveal on the outside. You will also see where the clip comes through. So this will be visible on the back. Now you can cover this up with things. You know, if you have an overlay on the back of your box, that can be easily hidden. Just remember, if you have an overlay, the lid will open up until it hits that overlay. So as it stands right now, this box can open up more than 90 degrees. But if I added an overlay on this to cover up this piece, it'll stop when it hits that second side, that overlay. So just keep that in mind when you're creating. Again, like the other one, we need to put the hinge together first. Then we're going to go ahead and glue it into the base. And then we're going to go ahead and glue it into the top. Okay, let's throw these behind so you can kind of see how it looks. So basically the only thing you'll see is that small reveal and where the tabs are coming through. Now with these hinges, there are different ways that you can use them, and again, like I said, you can use a box, you can do, you know, picture frames or anything that you want to open up. So what I've done is I've created a template, and all the hinges I just talked about are here. So you have your U or J clip hinge here, and I have it in two different sizes. So I have it in 1/8 and 1/4. I also have the clip barrel hinges in 1/8 and 1/4, and the hidden barrel hinges in 1/8 and 1/4. This guide will kind of help you figure out how you're going to use them. So what you want to do when you're using any of these hinges is open up this template in Illustrator and then copy this hinge set. Again, picking whatever clip or pin that you want to use, whether it's J or U. And you're going to make a copy in your project for how many hinges you have. So if you have a 2 hinge, you're going to copy this twice. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to take this whole guide. You're going to copy this into your project for as many hinges as you have. Then you're going to line up this dotted line with the seam where your lid and your body meet. And then you're going to cut out these holes from the lid and the body. Same thing with the 1/4 inch. Now for the clip barrel and the hidden barrel, the whole guide's a little different. It is just a square for the clip barrel that you need to cut out from the top and the bottom, so the lid and the body. And you're going to line this up with the seam again where the lid and body meet. So you're going to cut out this space from the bottom and cut out this space from the top. Same thing for the 1/4. I also give you an idea of how everything goes together. So remember, on the barrel hinges, you must put them together first before you glue them or attach them to your project. Now for the hidden barrel hinges, once you put them together, then you have to make sure that the whole guide is set up correctly. So you're going to cut out from the lid, you're going to cut out this top slot and this piece here. Remember, this lines up with where the lid and the body meet. And you're also going to have to cut out these slot holes and this from the bottom or the body of the box, lining this up. The other thing that I have on here is I have a material thickness guide. The material that I normally use for my 1/8 material is about 0.122. It's never really over that, so I tend to make all of my slots and tabs with a material thickness of 0.120, which takes into account some of the kerf that you're going to get from your laser. Is it an exact science? No. Does it work? Almost every time. I think there's only been one time when my material thickness was, probably a true 0.125 that I had to go in and adjust. But for the most part, I have yet to see true 0.125 thickness material. So this guide will help you along. If your material thickness is 0.118, it's going to be a little loose. If it's 0.124, it's going to be a little tight. Your optimal is right in the middle. So I would say 0.121 to 0.122. The other thing we have is the 1/4. Again, knowing that most 1/4 material that we can buy is rarely 0.25. So again, for this one, I set them up with 0.22. Now, again, if it's a little tight or a little loose, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to ruin the project. Some you might have to sand down a little bit, and that's okay. The tighter it is for the fit, the better it is. These are all created pretty tight, so as you open it for the first time, it's going to be a little stiff to move. The more you open it, the looser it's going to get. And I have boxes I created probably about 3 years ago with the same set, and they are perfect. They have yet to come apart, and they still work exactly the way I wanted them to. The other thing I have on this page is a 1 by 1 inch square. So if you open this, just click on this square just to make sure it's 1 by 1 inch. This way you know that when you're copying these across, they're going to be at the exact size that you need them for the material that you're using. If this square is not 1 by 1 inch, you'll need to select everything and shrink it down or blow it up until this square exactly matches 1 inch. Okay, that's about it. This will be available on my group page, Excited Adam Design on Facebook. Definitely give me a like, start following me. I will add more tutorials and templates and some fun free stuff as we go along. I'm hoping to do once every 2 weeks for right now. I am also going to start doing once a week live tutorial classes, and I will set all those up and I will put out the schedule so that everybody can see it. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Put in the comments if there's something that you want to see, something that you need help with. It doesn't have to be just Illustrator. It can be anything design oriented, anything that you're trying to work on. Just let me know. Just give it to me. All right. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you soon.